I kicked my mother-in-law out on Christmas Day, and I'd do it again. My name is Ashley. I am 34 years old, I live in Georgia, and last Christmas I did something that split my entire family down the middle. Half of them think I am a hero. The other half think I am the worst daughter-in-law who ever lived. I have thought about this every single day since it happened, and I still feel exactly the same way I felt when it happened. Completely and totally justified. Let me start from the beginning. I have been married to my husband Marcus for 5 years. Marcus is a good man, patient, hardworking, the kind of person who would do anything for the people he loves. He is also, and I say this with love, someone who spent 30 years being completely controlled by his mother. Her name is Linda. Linda is 61 years old. She lives 40 minutes away from us in the same town she has lived in her entire life. And from the moment Marcus and I started dating, she made it her personal mission to make my life as difficult as possible. It started small. Little comments about how I cooked. Questions about my career that were really just judgments in disguise. Showing up to our apartment unannounced and then acting confused when I seemed surprised. Calling Marcus 3, 4, 5 times a day and getting genuinely upset if he did not answer immediately. At our wedding she wore a white dress. Not off-white, not cream, white. I saw it and I felt something shift inside me, but I smiled and said nothing because Marcus looked so happy and I did not want to ruin his day. For 5 years I tolerated Linda because Marcus asked me to, and because I loved Marcus, and because I kept telling myself it would get better. It did not get better. It got worse. Especially after our daughter Emma was born 2 years ago. Suddenly Linda had a new way to insert herself into every corner of our lives. She had opinions about how we were feeding Emma, how we were sleeping Emma, what Emma was wearing, what Emma was watching, who Emma was spending time with. She told me once, completely seriously, that she thought grandparents should have just as much say in a child's upbringing as the parents. I told Marcus that night that we needed to have a serious conversation about boundaries. Marcus agreed. The conversation with Linda never happened. Now let me tell you about Christmas. We had decided to host Christmas at our house this year. My parents were flying in from Ohio, my mom Carol and my dad Steve. They had never actually spent a holiday at our house before, and I was so excited. I had been decorating for weeks, planning the menu, making everything perfect. Emma was 2.5 and finally old enough to really understand Christmas, and I wanted it to be magical for her. Linda was invited for Christmas dinner. Dinner. Not Christmas morning, not the whole day, dinner. She was told 3 p.m. This was a boundary Marcus and I had agreed on together because my parents were arriving Christmas morning, and I wanted some time with just my family before the whole group got together. My parents arrived at 10 a.m. It was wonderful. Emma opened presents, my dad got on the floor and played with her, my mom helped me in the kitchen, Marcus made his famous biscuits. It was exactly what I had imagined. Warm and easy and full of laughing. At 11:15 a.m. the doorbell rang. It was Linda, with 2 suitcases. She walked into my house, looked around at my parents who she had met exactly twice before, said, "Oh good, the whole gang is here," and then told Marcus to help her with her bags because she had packed enough for 3 days. I stood in my kitchen holding a dish towel, and I felt every single muscle in my body go tight. Marcus looked at me with this expression that I can only describe as guilty panic. He pulled Linda aside and I heard him say quietly that she was supposed to come for dinner, not to stay. Linda said she had assumed she was staying because that is what families do on Christmas. She said it loud enough for my parents to hear. My mom looked at her coffee cup. My dad pretended to be very interested in something on his phone. I gave Marcus exactly one opportunity to handle it. I went to him privately in our bedroom and I said, "You need to tell your mother that this was not the plan and that she cannot stay." Marcus said, "Ashley, she is already here. It is Christmas. Can we just let it go this one time?" I looked at my husband for a long moment, and I said, "This is not one time, Marcus. This is every time. And if you will not handle it, then I will." He did not handle it. I walked back into my living room where Linda had already positioned herself in the armchair closest to the Christmas tree. My chair, the one I always sit in, and was telling my mother about how she had basically raised Marcus alone after his father left, and how hard it had been. My mother was nodding politely, but I could see in her eyes that she was uncomfortable. I stood in the middle of my living room and I said clearly and calmly, "Linda, I need to speak with you privately, please." We went to the hallway. I told her that she was invited for dinner at 3 p.m., and that showing up 4 hours early with suitcases was not okay. I told her my parents had come a long way to spend Christmas with us, and I had planned this day carefully. I told her I needed her to either agree to come back at 3 p.m., or I was going to have to ask her to leave now. Linda stared at me. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. She said, "Ashley, you cannot be serious. I am Marcus's mother. This is my son's house." I said, "This is my house too, and I am very serious." She said Marcus would never. I said, "Marcus knows I am having this conversation." Then she walked past me back into the living room and sat back down in my chair and said to my mother, "She has always been very high-strung." I went and got her suitcases from the hallway. I brought them to the front door and I opened the door, and I set them outside on the porch. Then I walked back into the living room and I said, "Linda, your bags are at the door. You are welcome to come back at 3 p.m. for dinner. But right now I need you to leave." The room went completely silent. Linda looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at me. My dad quietly took Emma into the other room. My mom sat very still. Marcus stood up. And for the first time in 5 years of marriage, for the first time in his entire life if I am being honest, Marcus looked at his mother and said, "Mom, you need to go. We will see you at 3. Linda left. She did not come back at 3. She did not come back at all. She drove home and called every single member of Marcus's family and told them what I had done. By evening my phone was full of messages from aunts and cousins and family friends telling me I was cruel and heartless, and that I had ruined Christmas. Here is what I did not ruin. I did not ruin Emma's Christmas morning. I did not ruin my parents' visit. I did not ruin the dinner that Marcus and I made together while my mom played with Emma and my dad watched football. I did not ruin the moment after dinner when Marcus took my hand and said quietly, "I should have done that a long time ago. I'm sorry it took me so long." Linda did not speak to Marcus for 3 weeks. When she finally came around, she never apologized to me directly. She told Marcus she was sorry if anyone felt uncomfortable. Marcus told her that was not good enough, and that if she wanted to be part of our family, she needed to treat his wife with respect. That conversation actually happened. I was not even in the room. Marcus did it on his own. Things are different now. Not perfect, but different. Linda calls twice a week instead of 5 times a day. She asks before she comes over. Last month she actually complimented my cooking, and I nearly fell off my chair. People keep asking me if I feel guilty about Christmas. About making an elderly woman stand on a porch with her suitcases on Christmas Day. And I want to be honest with you, no, not even a little. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do for everyone involved, including the person you are setting limits with, is to finally say clearly and out loud, "This is not okay and it stops today." So Reddit. AITA for kicking my mother-in-law out on Christmas morning? Because my in-laws still think I am a monster. But my husband finally stood up for me. And my daughter had the most magical Christmas of her life. And I sat in my own chair at my own table in my own home and felt, for the first time in 5 years, completely at peace. Tell me your verdict.